Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Never a dull moment in this subcommittee. I will always say that. Let's go through a couple things. First, yeah, look, if you go back to the Buffalo shooter, which was awful for all reasons considered. Did he cite replacement theory? Yeah, he did. Did he also cite socialist theories? He most definitely did. Did he target black people? 100% he did. So if you combine all of the issues with the Buffalo shooter, you had somebody who wanted to kill black people. Obviously, that's a white supremacist move. That was his whole focus. But he also espoused ideals from the left wing of politics. Both things can occur at the same time, and they did in the Buffalo shooting. And I think the thing that's most frustrating in hearings like this is because the supposition from my colleagues is that if you are a white supremacist and all at the same time you're also somehow on the right side of politics, the Buffalo shooter actually demonstrates that's not true. That's actually not true. White supremacy is awful. Nobody should be defending it. It should always be denounced. But we also have to be careful not to just conveniently circle together our political opponents so that it makes us look good in narratives and press clippings, in hearings, or when you go to ask people for their votes in elections. We do have an issue in the United States with domestic terrorist violence. There is an issue. But it's across the political spectrum. Even the FBI, and we got some questions that we need to ask them about other things going on in the United States. But even the FBI does not categorize domestic violence based upon political viewpoints. They do not do that. I wish the news media would report it, but the FBI does not categorize it based upon political thoughts. They categorize it based purely on the violence that people inflict. These are key conditions that we have to understand if we're going to have real hearings about what must be, quote unquote, done in the United States. One other point I have to bring up, and this is with respect to my colleague who just cited the point about white supremacy infiltrating law enforcement from a report back in 2006. On October 24th, 2022, the FBI submitted to this committee, and I quote, "The FBI does not have information to support the assessment that these individuals are broadly representative of the hundreds of thousands of sworn law enforcement officers operating in the U.S. across nearly 20,000 federal, state, county, and local agencies, and available FBI reporting has not revealed an infiltration of law enforcement." The FBI said that 2 months ago. So are we going to sit here and just try to create these cute little narratives that sound good politically, or are we going to get to the bottom of what's actually happening in the United States of America? And truth be told, the bottom of what's happening in the United States is that we are making cute narratives that look good for politics and sound good in press clippings, and we are not being honest about all of the various factors that are happening in the United States, namely a major social media problem. We know about the Twitter files. Let me give you guys a preview. We're going to be talking about that in the 118th Congress. Real quick before my time expires. Because when these issues flare up in our politics and in our country, we have to be careful not to quickly assign blame to one group or another group or one side of the political aisle or another side of the political aisle. We have to get to the facts. And there's actually a demonstration of that right here in this hearing. Ms. Caraballo, on page 12 and 13 of your written testimony, you painted concerned parents as having been infiltrated by white nationalists and far-right militia groups, which played a significant role in school board protests. This has not actually been my experience with concerned parents. In your testimony, you wrote that in Loudoun County, Virginia, unfounded rumors that spread in local parent groups on Facebook about an alleged trans student sexually assaulting a girl in a bathroom led to a firestorm of several heated school board protests that descended into violence. But in fact, the perpetrator, it actually turned out, had committed 2 sexual assaults at 2 different Loudoun County schools in 2021 and was arrested on October 7th, 2021 by the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. These weren't unfounded rumors, as you suggest. It actually turns out law enforcement had to act because a sexual assault occurred. So giving this, I'm assuming that until now you were unaware of what happened here, and you're going to update your testimony for the committee. Is that correct?
Thank you, Representative. What I was referring to in terms of unfounded rumors was that the perpetrator was trans. At the time, there was no indication, and later it came out that the perpetrator would not have any trans identity. And
I'm out of time, but the only thing I'm going to say is this. This is an example of what is concerning us in America. We have to be very careful not to quickly label groups and people just because it's politically convenient, which has been one of the issues in this committee. We have to be very careful about this. We are all Americans. We do not want violence against any citizen. We want all people to be safe in America. We want all people to speak freely in America. That is the thing that will actually help us cure some of this violence extremist issues we currently have in the United States. I yield back.